All right, good evening, friends. So tonight we are going to be learning how to divide using the area model. Go ahead and write down today's date in the top corner of your page, along with your title, Division with Area Model, and your learning goal. Today I will be able to divide a 2-digit dividend by a 1-digit divisor using an area model. I will be able to apply my knowledge to expand my thinking to 3-digit dividends as well. Go ahead and pause your video here so that you can get your date, title, and learning goal copied down. Okay, now that we've copied down our learning goal, we're going to go ahead and review our base 10 model, which is what we practiced in class today. So we're going to divide the equation 85 divided by 5 equals n using our base 10 model. Remember, when we're doing a base 10 model, we say to ourselves, how many equal groups am I going to be making? Well, the equation 85 divided by 5 equals n tells me that I'm going to be splitting 85 into 5 equal groups. So I can go ahead and draw my 5 equal groups. All right, now that I have my 5 equal groups drawn, I need to take my 85 and draw it in a base 10 model. So, the 8 is in the tens place, which tells me that I'm going to have 8 10 sticks. I have a 5 in my ones place, telling me that I'm going to have 5 bits. All right, there is 85 drawn in a base 10 model. I now need to split that 85 equally into 5 groups. I can see that I have enough 10 sticks to place at least one 10 stick in each of my 5 groups. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute my 10 sticks to my 5 groups. Notice that as I distribute my 10 sticks, I'm marking them off so that I know what I have already distributed. All right, so I was able to distribute 5 10 sticks to my groups, and I have 3 10 sticks left over. Well, 3 10 sticks is not quite enough to distribute equally into 5 groups. So I have to think about what my next step's going to be. I can't take these 3 sticks and split them equally into 5 groups, but I can take those 3 10 sticks and regroup them into ones. So I'm going to take these 3 10 sticks and they're going to become regrouped into ones. When I regroup 3 10 sticks into ones, I now have 30 ones. Because each 10 stick is worth 10 ones, and I have 3 10 sticks, so 3 times 10 is 30 ones. Remember that I had 5 ones from my original base 10 drawing, so 30 ones plus 5 ones gives me a total of 35 ones that I still need to distribute. Because I know my multiplication facts, I know that 35 divided by 5 is 7. So each of my 5 groups is going to get 7 ones, because 7 times 5 is 35, which means I will have distributed all of my 35 pieces that I had left over. After I've done that, I have now distributed all of my 85 pieces. If I counted up each of these pieces, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then I counted all my ones, I would get to 85. To figure out my quotient, I'm just going to look at one of my groups because you have the same amount in each of your groups. So if I look at one of my groups, I see that I have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I have 17 pieces in each group, which means that my quotient is 17. 85 divided by 5 equals 17. Go ahead and pause your video here and get written down all the parts of your base 10 model and press play when you're ready to begin looking at your area model. Okay, now that we've solved this equation, 85 divided by 5 equals 17, using the base 10 model, we're going to apply that knowledge to our area model to help us solve. So, remember that when you solve the same equation more than once or using another model, you should always get the same answer. So when we solve 85 divided by 5, we should still get 17 as our answer. So let's go ahead and check together and see if that's what happens. The basis of the area model is going to be a rectangle. So for every area model you do, you're going to use a rectangle, just kind of like you do with the area model of multiplication. It's going to look a little bit different though. So go ahead and draw your rectangle. It's important that your rectangle starts on the left-hand side of your page because with each step, your rectangle is going to grow out to the right. All right, so we need to go ahead and put our parts in the right places in our rectangle. Our divisor, the number we're dividing by, is going to go on the outside of our rectangle. Our dividend, the number that is being divided, is going to go on the inside of our rectangle. Eventually, we will build our quotient on the top of our rectangle. So we're not going to do anything with our quotient yet. All right, I would like for you to put your pencils down, and you will get a chance to pause the video at the end to copy everything down, but for right now, I would like for you just to be listening. Now that I have my box set up, I need to think to myself, what is an easy number that I can multiply by 5 to get me close to 85? Well, I know from my base 10 model that I can place a 10 stick in each of my groups, and 10 is an easy number to work with. You always want to start with easy numbers. Easy numbers are numbers like 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 100, any of those numbers that end in zeros, numbers that are easy to multiply by. So, because we've already done our base 10 model, we know that 10 is a good number to start with. When I multiply 5 times 10, I'm going to get 50. That means I have already distributed 50 of my 85 pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract those 50 pieces out. 5 minus 0 is 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. This tells me that I have 35 pieces that I still need to distribute. So I'm going to go ahead and add on to my rectangle. Add on another box. When you add on another box, you need to have an addition sign where your boxes are conjoined. All right, I'm going to take those 35 pieces that were left over and move them to the top of my next box. And then again, I say to myself, what is an easy number that I can multiply 5 by that is going to get me close to the number 35 without going over? Because I know my multiplication facts, I know that 5 times 7 is 35. So I can subtract away those 35 pieces that I have now distributed. When I do that, I get 0 pieces left over. It's always our goal here to get 0 pieces left over. When you get a 0, that tells you that all the pieces have been distributed. All right, now that I have a 0 here, I'm going to go ahead and add together the parts of my quotient. Remember that I told you we would be building our quotient on the top of our box. So we need to add 10 plus 7 to get our quotient of 17. That matches what we got in our base 10 model, which is a good sign. That tells us that we have solved using our area model correctly. Go ahead and pause your video here to get all of your area model copied down. Press play when you're ready to begin again. Okay, so now we're going to solve the equation 54 divided by 3 equals n using an area model first. Then we will check with our base 10 model. Remember that when you start with an area model, you're going to start with your rectangle off to the left-hand side of your page. Remember that your divisor, the number you're dividing, goes on the outside of your box. Remember that your dividend goes on the inside of your box. I remind myself of this by saying divisor, or equals outside. In equals inside. Okay, now that I have my box set up, I'm going to say to myself, what is an easy number that I can multiply by 3 that's going to get me close to the number 54 without going over? Remember that those easy numbers are numbers like 5, 10, 20, 30, 100, easy numbers to multiply by. Well, I know that I can multiply 3 by 10 and get somewhere close to 54 without going over, because 3 times 10 is 30. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract out those 30 pieces that I have now already distributed. 4 minus 0 is 4. 5 minus 3 is 2. This tells me that I have 24 pieces that I still need to distribute, which means I need to go ahead and add on a second box. Remember that anytime you add a box, you need to have an addition sign. You're going to take those 24 pieces and go ahead and send them on over to the next box. All right, so I have 24 pieces left to distribute. Well, I say to myself, what is an easy number that I can multiply by 3 to get me somewhere close to 24? Well, because I know my multiplication facts, I know that 3 times 8 is 24. And I can go ahead and subtract out those 24 pieces that I have now distributed, which gives me 0. Remember that when I get a 0 down here, I have now distributed all of my pieces and I'm done. I just need to add the parts of my quotient together. So 10 plus 8 equals 18. 54 divided by 3 equals 18. All right, let's go ahead and solve or check that using the base 10 model. Remember, I start by saying how many equal groups am I making? Well, I'm making 3 equal groups, so go ahead and draw those 3 equal groups. And I'm splitting 54 into those equal groups, so I'm going to draw that using a base 10 model. I have a 5 in my tens place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a 4 in my ones place. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I can see that I have enough 10 sticks to go ahead and distribute at least one of them to each of my groups. Alright, well now I only have 2 10 sticks left over, but I have 3 groups. I don't have enough 10 sticks to distribute them equally into 3 groups. So I'm going to have to take these 2 10 sticks and regroup them into ones. When I do that, I get 20 ones. Because each 10 stick is worth 10 ones, and I have 2 of them to give me a total of 20 ones. I had 4 ones before from my number 54. And when I put those together, I have a total of 24 ones that I still need to distribute equally into my 3 groups. If you didn't know your multiplication fact of 3 times 8 is 24, you could start counting them off until you got to 24. That is a strategy you can use. You could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you would do that all the way up to 24. However, we do know our multiplication facts. We do know that 3 times 8 is 24. So we know that each group is going to get 8. Once we've done that, we have now distributed all of our pieces, and I look at one group. And in one group, I have 18. So that tells me that 54 divided by 3 equals 18. And because that matches our area model, that's a good sign that we have solved this problem correctly. Go ahead and pause your video here and make sure that you have all of your pieces written down. Okay, now that we've practiced together, I would like for you to do it on your own. You're going to solve the problem 64 divided by 4 equals n. You're going to solve using the area model and check using your base 10 model. Go ahead and pause the video here. Once you've solved, you can press play to check your work. Okay, at this point you should have solved 64 divided by 4 equals n using an area model and checked using the base 10 model. When you check your work, you should be able to see that the answer to the equation 64 divided by 4 is 16. Your quotient is 16. 64 divided by 4 equals 16. All right, I am excited for us to get together tomorrow and for you to show off all that you have learned and to expand on your knowledge. Tomorrow in class, we're going to practice using our area model with 3-digit dividends. Have a great night.